Hello, hello. Hey, Diginanigans. Thank you for chatting. My YouTube live control panel is busted, so I wasn't sure if I could even see YouTube chat, but there you are. All right, let me get going here. Change the radio station now that we're in a gap here. Bam. All right, here we are. Happy Thursday. How's it going? All right, I fulfilled my promise to keep working on the cutaway system in my own time, off stream. I did some more last night, and I think I finished it. Pretty sure I finished it. At least finished enough. But oh, there's one more thing I want to change today. I basically added a third kind of cutaway, which filled in the remaining weird cases that I wanted to handle. So if we make our little stack, our little apartment stack here. I still want to change some of the behavior of the exterior cutaway, but we can do that now, or we should be able to. So now, huzzah! So yeah, now if we start to do like a terracing like this, it looks really nice in my opinion. Like, look at that. The issue that we're seeing, if it looks weird at all, it's because the outlines aren't being calculated. But we have that on our chart of things to do. But yeah, now it's handling the cutaway exactly like I want it to, which is pretty good. And if there's like, let's say there's like walls on walls. So let's say we have walls here. And let's say we also have walls up here. I think it should be one further. So I think if I do this, we got a neat effect here. So if we make these walls and then we go down one level. Oh, I went too far. Oopsies. So fix that real quick. It's actually the same. Okay. So if we basically have another set of walls pretty much exactly above this set of walls. I don't know if I'm doing this correctly. Oh yeah, here we are. So it's cutting away those walls as well, so you can still see into the next chamber. It's a little harder to see, but it's still what I want. So that's pretty neat. I'm pretty pleased with the current state of the cutaway. There's still the local cutaway stuff. So if you get too close to like a wall in a room, it will hide that. It'll do a half cut. We're doing full cuts now, but only on upper surfaces, so only on surfaces higher than like the cursor chord. So on the level you're at, you're only seeing half cuts, and then you'll see full cuts higher up, which is how we get that really nice stepped terracing effect. Looking good, thank you. Yeah, I think it's this is enough where I'm happy with this, and we're putting this away for a bit, except for one exception. Hey, Rand and Journey, it's looking really good. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased. Pretty pleased with the current state of things in Cutaway World. The only way it could really be improved is if we implement that quote-unquote raycast input, so that if I'm like pointing at the wall, the system can tell if I'm pointing at the wall. Because right now, if I click at the wall, it thinks I'm clicking on the floor behind the wall. So I wanna simulate a raycast rather than having this locked Z index, which is kind of what we're doing. Where like your cursor is locked to this Z level, and then you can scroll up to the next Z level and like scroll up to the next Z level. I would rather have a raycast sort of effect that you then scroll through. So like the first thing you'd hit would be like this outer wall, and then you could scroll into the room, and then you could scroll past this wall, and then you could just scroll through the different layers, rather than having it be locked to a particular Z index. I think that would be cool. That's also on our list of things to do. We'll see how much of a priority that is, but the raycast sounds really cool, especially with the zoom idea. You feel like this is really nice for now. I guess we do also have the zoom. So if you zoom far enough back, you'll end up... Yeah, rather than... that, I think that's a really good point that I didn't think about. Because right now, if you scroll back, you scroll up. But at a certain point, you're going to scroll back far enough that you hit the half-scale zoom, like the exterior, the true exterior view. Hey, Skywalk, look at you throwing out all those emotes. That sweet iron badge. The Digital Iliad iron badge. Looking good. Were the outside walls going to be full cut? No, I think I'm still going to do half cut because I like it. It kind of gives you a sense of the space. I could conceivably do a full cut for the outermost walls. But I think it's easier to do this because you get into some weird tricky things about how do you tell the difference between whether you're actually at the outermost wall or if you're just at like a gap. Someone gifted you a sub while you weren't watching. Yeah, that happens. It happens. I'm always blown away when I get gifted to a sub for like a channel I haven't watched in like months. I don't know what their criteria is for giving people subs. But you know, I'm always grateful. If someone does, I try to hop into the channel and express that, but very generous. Our anonymous, you know, anonymous is very generous. Our anonymous gifter. All right, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So the exterior cutaway is like cursor based, and it engages when you're like outside of the, either when you're outside of the construction, or if you're like, let's say there isn't anything here. Like we're on the top of the ship right now. So right now we're following the rules of the exterior cutaway system. And I think I want full cutaways for the exterior. So I think I want to change the way the exterior cutaway works, and then I think I'm done with the cutaway system. So let's dig into that. Hold on. It was really cold this morning, but now it's kind of warm. I'm going to take off my coat here. All right. So, exterior cutaway. Exterior. That would be here. Will there be people doing work on the outside hull of the ships? Sometimes. There will be airlocks. Excuse me. And so I can imagine people doing like suiting up and like going outside to like fix something. I'm kind of excited about how that will work because it would be really fun to see someone walking like at a 90-degree angle because they have like mag boots and they're like walking along the wall on the outside of the ship. I think that should be an option. Like in case you can't get to a specific part of the ship from the inside, like because of just damage or I don't know, enemy boarding action or something. I think it would be cool if you could like suit up and like send someone outside to go around. I think that'll be cool. It's not really something that's ever in these kinds of games, but I think we can support it. All right, so exterior cutaway. So we need to change the logic here. The logic here is pretty simple. I think part of the thing is we need to So one of the things is we're just going to stop doing the half bulk cutaway. So we've added a new cutaway called the full bulk. So there's basically 3 levels of cutaway. There's like, here's the whole block, and then you cut off half of the wall, or you cut off all of the wall, or you cut off the floor and everything above it. So there's like 3 levels of cuts now instead of just 2. And that's given us that additional level of precision there. So if I'm just gonna hit this and then continue, I don't actually need this section. We could just fall out of this case. Oh no, because this is a full bulk cutaway and this is a full deck cutaway. There's one exception. I don't quite like how this is working. I want to change this logic a little bit. So if block coords.x is less than, I think I want to say less than or equal to. Okay, so this check is meaningless because we're already saying, oh, no, this is just checking the XY. Why is this 2 things? Why don't I just say block coords.xy equals cursor coords.xy? Do I need to do this though if I change this one above here? So if block coords, also are these checks identical? Right, okay. So if either of these are less than, I want to say less than or equal to, I think. same for this one. Z is a less than. I think I want to do the same here. Again, I love having the little helper bits, so I can take like a vector 3 and just say, give me the XY. Or I can take a vector 4 and say, give me the XYZ. Or give me the YZ. Or give me whatever. Give me some... I hate when I don't have access to stuff like that. Alright, I think this is accurate to what we want to do. Could this just be OR for all of these? So this is if either of them are the same. No, we don't even need this second line. In fact, I can move this check up here. These checks are identical. We can do... So what about this? What are the cases that actually fall through to this? So only if Z is less than. Hey, still needs work. How's it going? Right, that's a big change. That's probably not going to have all the... Alright, so if block is greater than, if it's not greater than, if the Z is not greater than and the Z is not equal to, it is necessarily less than. We're just gonna get rid of that check. So it'll be this, and then continue. PySpark is finally working with no errors. Nice, nice. How am I today? I'm doing all right. I'm kind of maybe a little less focused. Certified Dozer, thank you for the follow. Hope you're having a great Thursday here. I don't feel super focused today, but it's okay because we did good job yesterday. And we set up a board of the stuff we need to work on. Right now we're finishing up the block cutaway system. It's so close. This is, I think, the last change we want to make to it, and then I'm just calling it for now. And then we can pick from our other things. I think we'll probably try to finish the camera rotations. Why did I say 45-degree camera rotations? It's 90-degree camera rotations. What are we doing? Certified Dozer. We are working on broad strokes. We're working on like an isometric 3D kind of version of FTL faster than light. So like a spaceship management game. So we've been managing the editor tool that will let us build out these 3D ships. So we've got a lot in place here. So let's see how the... So what's going on here? So if I have these 2 blocks here and I look past it, okay, that's in place. But if I go past that, it's hidden. I think that's fine. So this way, you can just slot something in, but if you look past it, it will cut away for you. I think that's reasonable for this section. And then what we did inside, that looks weird, but why can't I see anything? There we go. Oh, I think I understand why. Okay, that's a bit of a problem. I see why I did it that way. Okay, we'll have to make a change. Cutaway system looks amazing. Yeah, check out this terracing. Great art. Thank you so much. I did that. That's mine. I'm not an artist. It's all programmer art. But look at this terracing. I fixed it from yesterday. Yesterday there were corner case issues, but look how smooth that stepping is. And if you've got kind of a vertical thing where like, so let's say the walls here continue to go up, then you've got a nice cutaway of those walls too. You can kind of see how that works. It's looking good. The only issue is the outlining is wrong. The outlining in the dark gray areas. But that's only because the cutaway system is not... The auto tiling system does not look at the cutaway when it's making the outlines. It only does the outlines based on the actual structure of the space. It doesn't look at like, here's how the cutaway's working. So that's also on our list of to-dos, is to make the outlining cutaway aware. I was kind of not sure for a while about the outlining, about how pervasive I wanted it to be, but I think as long as we've got this very flat texturing, we're going to lean super hard into the outlining. You don't know much about coding? Your cousin's a game dev too? Oh, sweet. What kind of stuff? What kind of stuff do they work on? Still needs work. I'm talented with art, but is in denial. Denial is just a river in Egypt. I wouldn't know it. I would love to get back to doing art. We haven't done art for over a year, probably. Except for some work on the doors. Which I do like our doors. Which I do need to fix. I need to fix this triple door. Yeah, the doors look great with half cutaways too. They look... The triple door is a little weird because of the yellow there, but that's what we need to fix. Rhiannon Journey, you're going to say at some point I have to just call myself an artist. Very rarely are any of your art friends satisfied with what they make. No, that's true. That's true. My partner of a very, very long time is an artist. She's a real artist. Like, she's a real artist. Like, understands anatomy and stuff, and she's always complaining to me. She's like, I don't understand literally every muscle in the human body, and I'm like, that's okay. The art looks great. I don't think you have to understand every single muscle in the human body to call yourself an artist, but I'm gonna say this stuff is all programmer art because my identity is more closely tied to programming. But yeah, I get it. Foreshortening in perspective is difficult. Oh yeah. This is why I have a fixed perspective. And we're not even drawing everything in perspective. All the character art is 2D straight on, no perspective. Your cousin, Certified Dozer, makes horror games. Ooh, nice. That's a great genre for indie game devs. Have I ever played Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion? Game's kind of like that. No, I haven't. I'm not a big horror game player. I tried to get into like Lethal Company and all that stuff when that came out with some friends. I kind of bounced off it. Like, I don't really play the Anomaly games and stuff like that, but we've started playing Peak. I'm kind of obsessed with Peak right now. It's not a horror game, but like it's very cool as far as like a thriller. I keep telling people to play it. Go play it. Go play Peaked. Not Peaked, Peak. This game has sold 2 million copies in 9 days. It's like so much fun. It's this little climbing game where you climb these mountains with your friends. It's so good. I don't know why I'm shilling this right now. I can't stop thinking about it. This game is so much fun. I played it solo yesterday. even though it's more of a team game. I like did my own little climb. I fell to my death at one point, but you know, it's fine. So good. The game is so good. Play more of that tonight. All right, so cutaway. So I see a problem with how I want to handle the exterior cutaway here. I actually can't do what I want, which is this. I have to do it. I have to do it like that. Okay. So if it's going to be like that, all right. Let's make a change and then we'll test it again. Dozer, just to clarify, you're not trying to advertise their game or anything. You've gotten them banned by another streamer once just for bringing it up. No, that's weird. That's weird. I would never do that. No, if they have an itch page or a Steam page or whatever, like, hit me with it. What kind of stuff do you work on though, Dozer? I feel like people don't just hang out in the game dev category. So this can't be less than or equals. That's unfortunate. So it's gotta be. Oh, also we don't really want to. So we could say .xy. I don't really care about whether the z is exactly the same, right? So I'm gonna move this down here. So I want to check something here. So if I do a less than comparison, if I do a less than comparison of my vectors, if I say less than, we do left.compare to right. How does my compare to logic work? Compare to return y is not equal to other.y. If it isn't, you do a compare to of that. Oh. This should compare both. My compare to is busted, I think. Because I hit the y comparison and then the x comparison, but I really want both. I want like if either of those. This is like a scuffed way to write this. Can I write it like this instead? Certified Dozer, it's a Roblox game. Oh, okay. You try to get the link if I want. You didn't even know he was a Roblox developer until recently. You're from Brazil. You don't talk to him often. That's still really cool. That's really cool. I don't really play Roblox, but honestly, I think that's a great space to be in for a developer, because I hear you can make some money doing that. I met a gentleman at GDC a couple of years ago who was the best dressed person I met at GDC. They had like a full 3-piece suit. And I was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And he was like the CEO of like a Roblox game developer. Like they just made Roblox games. And when I say CEO, I'm pretty sure he was like the only person. But he was dressed for the role he wanted. Dress for the role you want, not the role you have. You know what I mean? So can I return instead? Can I say y.compare to x is less than 0, or x.compare to other.y, x.compare to other.x is less than 0. How can I do this? So if either coordinate is less than one of the coordinates for the other, then I think it should return that, right? So we'll say, so if it is, we'll say -1. If it's not, oh, I need to say less than 0. So if either of these are negative, no, this doesn't work. This doesn't work, right? Because then it's basically favoring. No, I guess the way I have it is really the only way that works at the moment. I got to think about a better way to do that, better way to do the vector comparisons. Because I can't, it's not usable most of the time. And I think that's honestly the case for a lot of vector comparisons. It doesn't give you the answer you expect, or like the dimensionality of like the order matters a lot of the comparison. So I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to continue. I was hoping I could say block coords.xy is less than cursor coords.xy, but I think that, I don't know. I don't think that works the way I've written it. Instead, what we can do is we can do this. Certified Dozer, your cousin's game once got into an official Roblox event. It's called The Hunt. The Hunt Mega Edition. Okay, it was like a riff on The Hunt, the game The Hunt. Cool. Jacob Dev, how's it going? It's going good. It's going good, Jacob Dev. We're wrapping up. We're we're pretty much, I'm hoping this is the last change I need to make. We're wrapping up our block cutaway system and we're moving on to something else. We've finally gotten serious about finishing this tool. All right, I think this is what I had before, and I think this is essentially what we're going to be doing. So we'll make this space here, and then if I want to hollow it out, it'll look like, yep, this is it. This is what I want. It's a little weird, but this is still better for the exterior cutaway because you can actually see what you're working on. Like if I went the other way, hold on. Like if I had done that the other way, it would have looked better. Fill this back in. Oh. Oh. Index was outside the bounds of the array. Interior cutaway blocks by cursored around. Cursored bounds. Ooh, okay, we have a crash here. So I think what I did is I made a bunch of rooms and I took away all of the rooms and then something occurred. Okay, that's an interesting edge case. I'm not going to think about that right now. I think that's actually a flaw with the flood fill algorithm more than anything else. Or it's an interaction between the flood fill algorithm and cutaway system. All right, so if I do it this way, yeah, that looks better. You can actually see what you're building. All right. So yeah, our cutaway is looking pretty good, if I may say so. Very pleased. Yeah, that's nice. Certified Dozer, The Hunt Mega Edition was an event where 25 games hid each one token, and the first one to get each token got $1 million in a visit to Roblox HQ. Probably one of the biggest prize pools you've ever seen in a Roblox event. That is wild. I mean, I think people have issues with Roblox because they're essentially using like child labor to make their events. Not their events, to make their like games, because they seem to, I'm not an expert, I'm not going to make any claims, they seem to encourage minors to like, you know, make levels and stuff, which they profit off of. Kind of an issue, but I'm not an expert. I've never played Roblox. I'm not familiar with the ecosystem, so I'm not gonna dig into that too much. But you know, if you can find success doing it in this environment, I'm saying as like an actual Roblox game developer, not as Roblox themselves or as one of the exploited minors, but you know. All right. This is good. I'm very pleased with this work here. Let's move on. All right, let's shift something to the completed section. Woo! Bonk. I feel like the copy, cut, and paste tool is pretty much done as well, but maybe it's not. I feel like selection overlays. The selection overlays probably need an update to accommodate the new cutaway system. So 90-degree camera rotations is probably the thing I want to work on next. I would like to do this raycast cursor input thing, but I feel like that is going to be kind of annoying. So the next thing we probably should do is block cutaway aware auto-tiled outlines. That seems like an easy thing. Auto-tile invalid blocks are good. Certified Dozer, you think one of the biggest problems Roblox has is that some companies such as Do Big Studios keep buying a bunch of Roblox games and then turning them into pay to win? Oof. Yeah, that they have like an entire ecosystem of games in there. It's kind of fascinating. Makes me long for the days of like Warcraft and StarCraft custom games, you know? Seems like so many of the biggest and most successful game franchises came out of there. And it was a fairly constrained and limited ecosystem. But it was still really cool. Like, I will never... I think I've probably put more hours into Warcraft 3 custom games than probably any other game ever. I mean, I don't have Steam stats for it, but, like, that login screen is, like the Reign of Chaos login screen is, like, burnt into my mind. Not to, you know, date myself as an old person. You spent so much time in those also. Yeah, exactly, Jacob Dev. Making and playing. I didn't do a lot of making back then. I don't think I realized that I wanted to make games back then. But yeah, I played so many of them. Yeah, okay, let's check the selection overlay, look at the camera rotations, and then maybe work on the block cutaway aware auto-tiled outlines. Mostly just attempting when you say making. Yeah, no worries. It's good stuff. It was worth a shot. I mean, you could have become Ice Frog or whoever. You could have invented MOBAs. I don't remember who invented MOBAs. It probably wasn't Ice Frog, but... I remember those Hero Arena games. Something like that. Yeah, I know. It's very contentious who exactly came up with the first arena shooter or the arena battler that was like close enough to Dota to be considered like the progenitor. Yeah, I don't want to get into that. But it's something like that. Diginanigans, you used to dabble around in creating custom games for StarCraft Brood War. Nice, yeah. It's one of the coolest things ever, hopping online and seeing a custom map you made being hosted by randoms online. That's super cool. Super cool. Yeah, I think I'm a little younger than you. So I think for me, the peak was Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos. Brood War was a little too tough for me when it came out. Which is funny because I love StarCraft 2. I played StarCraft 2 for a long time, but Brood War was just a little too much for me. Which, you know, it's a hard game. Certified Dozer, you just feel like people don't take Roblox games as serious as like Steam games or something. No, they don't. Rightly or not. A Roblox game called The Grow Garden literally beat Fortnite and current players. Wow. I'm not surprised, honestly. Do Big Studios later bought Grow a Garden and added these things called seed packets, I think is what you meant to say, which gave you a random seed, and the better seed, the more rare it was for you to get it. Kind of sounds like gambling. Hey, they do. Loot boxes are suspiciously like gambling, and some jurisdictions have labeled them as such. What am I working on? Oh yeah, I was gonna make sure the grid, the selection grid needs to know about full wall cutaways. I'm gonna make sure that it doesn't. So if I just do this, and I just do this, I make some walls, some random walls here, and then I select those walls, and then yeah, that actually kind of works already somehow. How does that work already? What? Let me see about that. It shouldn't work, but it does. Full bulk X. If full bulk cutaway... Wait, where are we? Tile grid. Oh no, I preemptively fixed this, it looks like. Oh, look at me. Is there a half bulk cutaway here? Yeah. Okay. Okay, pass Dave. Good job. I see you. Doing the stuff in advance. Selection overlays are done. Well, hold on. Hold on, one more thing. Well, no, they're done. Let me double check that they work with camera rotations. Rhiannon Journey, you tried to get Warcraft 2. Your parents wouldn't allow it because that's what Christian parents did at the time. True. You spent a lot of time in it in Warcraft 3 once you were on your own. Ours is not to wonder why. No, ours is not. Diginanigans, SC1, SC2, and Warcraft 3 are all games that stole a good chunk of your gaming time growing up. Never gotten to WoW that much. You enjoy the lore of both those universes? Yeah. I played Vanilla WoW quite a bit. Not enough to hit 60 until Burning Crusade already came out. So I missed the classic Vanilla WoW like raiding experience and everything. The funniest thing happened to me playing WoW. I was mostly a solo player. I wasn't like a big raider or like in any guilds really. So when I hit max level, I like uninstalled the game and like canceled my subscription the same day. I hit max level and I was like, I think I'm done. I think I'm done with WoW, which was probably really good for me. I dipped back into WoW Classic during the pandemic because I was furloughed from work, but my furlough ended up only lasting like 3 weeks, and I just canceled the subscription when furlough was over. Okay, it looks like selection outlines do work under camera rotation. That's good. All right. Okay. Selection overlays are being moved to the completed list. Let's take a look at camera rotations, I guess. Man, it's really nice to have a task list, huh? I could dodge, yeah. Past Dave putting in the work. I know, it's crazy. Sometimes I actually plan these things out. It's wild. Sometimes I think ahead, which is really not my style. It's always nice to move cards. Yeah, it's a good feeling. You want to move the cards to the right. Up and to the right. That's where we want to go. What am I doing? Oh, yeah, I'm checking. So we have some issues with camera rotation. One issue we have with camera rotation is that the cutaway system does not work with camera rotation. So why would that be? It basically fails to engage the interior cutaway systems when we rotate. Like, I can kind of show what happens. Rihanna journey going from backlog to in progress. It's a great feeling, and it feels bad. And then you move it to completed. Yeah, it's good stuff. Hey, Fusionist. How's it going? All right, so if we do this, and we make a little space. Let's make a little space here. I don't know why I make the floors then the walls. I like don't need to do that. That's like unnecessary effort. So here we are correctly in the interior cutaway here. So here we go. And then if I rotate this, chillin', what's up? We're just knocking out tasks, you know? We finished our cutaway system. We're very happy. I fixed the last few issues with it. It's got a really nice step now. And if we like stack the walls, handles that well too. The only thing we need to fix is maybe some outlining, but that's fine. We're working on the outlining. Working on that a little later. To make it more clear how the shape works. Fusionist, after 10 years, your computer's secondary hard drive failed. You know, you had everything backed up. Well, at least it was the secondary hard drive. Yeah, so this system, the cutaway system, doesn't work when we've rotated, but what if I am over here? No. So, yeah. So when we rotate the camera, the interior cutaway system never engages. We just get stuck in the exterior cutaway here. Which honestly, people might prefer. But that's fine. So why does the system fail to engage when we're under a camera rotation? You figured it's time for an upgrade now? It turns out there's some global sale for PC parts. You're gathering some of those. Nice, nice. Yeah, I have my old desktop, which is just full of hard drives. It's like a very spacious PC, so it's just full of all my old hard drives that are like, they're kind of small, like they're mostly SD drives, but they're only like 100, 200 gigs each. And so I have them all shoved into one computer, and I don't use this computer for anything. I'm thinking I should probably set it up as like a NAS box kind of deal or something. Like a local backup storage system, because I have everything that I work on backed up to the cloud, but you know it's also good to have a local backup. Just who has time to set that stuff up? Not me. Old computers equals fun projects. Yeah, I'm not great at that. I have a friend who's much better. They're on like they'll build and rebuild computers and like upgrade them like incrementally and do all this different stuff. When I build a computer, it's all out of new, quote unquote, new parts. It's usually a couple generations old, but it's all like I want warranties and stuff. And then I don't usually upgrade anything. The computer just usually lives its life under the specs that it was created with, and it would be cool if I had more fun with it, but I don't. I do need to build a couple new systems this year. I'm waiting until the holidays, but I need to build a couple more backup PCs for myself and my partner. Because this PC is a beast. The PC that I'm using right now is gonna last me a long time, but I need some secondary machines. I also have a little frag box, which is like an ITX box with like a handle, and you can just pick it up, carry it around with you. It's pretty cool for taking it to events and stuff. Fusionist, you have an old roommate's laptop plus this other one you'll be retiring. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, the PCs just live longer now, huh? There's just fewer updates. I mean, except for, you know, Microsoft being like, you got to have TPM to get Windows 11, but no, you don't. But yes, you do, but not really. Like, Diginanigans, your primary PC is a PC of Theseus, originating about 20 years ago. That's wild. Does it have any of its original parts? Is it rocking some like old beige like desktop case or something? Or is it a true ship of Theseus or PC of Theseus? Like it has no original parts left in it, but you consider it the same PC? That's fun. The oldest part in it right now is, yeah, the case. That's what I suspected. And some fans. It's about 6 years old, you think? Cool. I do love a nice case, which is kind of probably why I don't keep old ones. I like getting a weird case, like an ITX case or like a weird micro ATX case that you have to like really carefully. The only time I didn't do that is this new PC I built a year ago or so. That's like this very high end. I say high end, it's still like, I think it's a 7950 X3D and a 4080 Super. It's like the nicest computer I've ever had. And this one was the first time I was like, in a long time, I was just like, just get a full tower. Like, it's gonna sit under your desk. Like, it doesn't need to be small and cute, just like, or be like weirdly wired. Just get like the full tower. So I did. It is a big boy. Fusionist, your main PC was a gaming laptop you got 11 years ago. It's still got life in it. You've been wanting to do more video and streaming, so the HDD is your excuse. That's a good excuse. It's a good excuse. Yeah, I got nervous with my old computers trying to stream and develop on the same machine. I was especially nervous back when I was using Unity, because Unity is way more likely to crash your computer than Godot. Godot has never crashed my computer for any reason, which makes me comfortable streaming and developing on it simultaneously. Diginanigans, no original parts you're aware of. Maybe some of the screws. Yeah, I bet maybe there's like, you got like a modular power supply and there's like a, maybe the power cable running into the wall. You know? Funny. Rhiannon Journey, you built your first PC since 2005, about a year ago. Oh. Ooh, and you got a Reddit post of it. Oh, this is nice. This is nice. This is a sick setup. I should post a picture of my setup. My setup is kind of crazy. I like this big dial. What is this? Is this like a soundbar? Volume dial? This thing in the middle? I love the consistency of the lighting. This is sick. What a clean setup. Oh, Lord. I did not want to zoom in there. Soundbar. Yeah, that's nice. It's very nice. Yeah, I should, well, I'd have to clean my desk first, but I'm constantly like, here's what my partner does to me whenever, every once in a while, let me see, let me look this up. Every time she sends me pictures, well, whenever she gets annoyed with my computer setup and how much of a baby I am about it, she sends me pictures of Concerned Apes PC setup when he was developing Stardew Valley, like this thing, or like the one that's the best. The picture that's the best picture is this picture. It's just like his OG. I had these speakers once long ago, edifiers. This is his setup. It's like a monitor on top of like a Wii U box with the keyboard and mouse on top of some old edifier speakers attached to some old janky desktop. She sends me this picture because my setup is ridiculous. My setup is like I have one of the LG double stack monitors, like the 2560 by 2880. So it's essentially one monitor that's two 1440p monitors. And then I have like a 4K primary monitor. And I have like a standing desk and like a Kinesis Advantage 360. I have all this. I've sunk like thousands of dollars into my computer setup. And she just sends me this picture every once in a while. And is like, this made Stardew Valley, which has sold 42 million copies. Not $42 million worth of copies, 42 million copies. This is my shame. Yeah, it's a fancy stand-up desk. You tweak the setup so the one is on the left is vertical, Rhiannon Journey. I love that. I love a nice vertical monitor nowadays. You got a bonus from work. You decided to splurge for the one thing you constantly use in your life. Exactly. I'm at this desk 12 hours a day. I'm at this desk for my day job. I'm at this desk for game dev. I live at this desk. You know, if I drove for a living, I'd get a nice car, right? Fusionist, this is why you choose your idols carefully. Yeah. You can idolize, you know, Gandhi. It doesn't mean you want to live like him, you know? Fusionist, you put a picture of your desk in the Discord. All right. We're going into ads. I will show the picture after ads. Diginanigans, your desk is constantly a mess. A mix between you setting stuff on it to deal with later and your toddler coming over and rearranging things and putting her own stuff on it. I love that. This is why you get the standing desk, Diginanigans. You can raise the desk up. And unless your toddler's like 4 feet tall, they're not going to be able to get to it. But I'm sure they'll try, and that would probably be more hazardous. They'd probably like climb your computer to like try to get to your desk. All right, I'm a little concerned about this access out of bounds issue that we ran into earlier. And I think that's a trick of the fact that, or I think that's a consequence of the fact that we draw preview blocks, but we only set rooms for settled blocks, which is why we apply this merging blocks thing. I think that's causing a problem when I did that. When I did the whole, like, I made a bunch of rooms and then I deleted all the rooms. And then the system was like, what? What am I supposed to do now? I think I maybe need a safety check in here. So right now we say, try get cursor out block.rooms.has any. Could I check something else? Is there something else? Here. I think I know what I could do. Buffer read only. Oh, can we say variable? Variable room bounds equals new buffer read only AABB and then all this junk. Rhiannon Journey, you're the toddler constantly putting stuff on your desk. You try to clear it every Monday and start fresh. That's great. I have a stack of letters on my desk. I'm usually really good about having like a very clean desk, but as soon as something starts to accumulate somewhere, it just goes out of control. So yeah, I have a stack of letters that I really need to get through. They're just sitting on my desk. And they're taking up the whole thing. That's my struggle right now that I'm procrastinating on. All right, so we're going to declare these bounds out here. And then so how can I protect myself against this? So count room cover, set room bounds. So what happens if the count is 0? Okay, so if the count is 0, it will at least set 0, and then it won't do anything else. Oh, that's a little weird. Maybe that's a problem. I'm going to say if block.rooms.has any and room bounds dot length is greater than 1. I'm going to try to see if that protects us from that crash that we experienced earlier. I guess I could check that now. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to make a bunch of rooms, and then we're going to fill those rooms back in so that there are no rooms. And we're going to see if that crashes the system. It might. So here we've got our rooms. We've got a few rooms. And then if I go in, and then I'm going to let go. Okay, no, I think the safety check we just added protects us. That should be fine until the flood fill system starts to run asynchronously. So if we go into the edit system, so right now it's all synchronous, so that's okay. If the edit system ever, if the segments of the edit system ever start to run asynchronously, like we split the fill system out, we would need something else. But right now, I think we're okay. Why did I? All right. Thanks, Pheasant SC2. You should join us for some climbing later today in Peak. Be there. Or be square. To hit you with a mid-century burn. Yeah, I'm muted. This is a nice setup. I've been talking about this setup for a while. Oh, I see. You're going to be climbing with your other friends. That's fine. Sorry, I've noticed this in my life. The longer I stream, the more I instinctively hit the mute button. Like if I'm gonna like cough or like even like whatever, sniffle even, I'll hit the mute button and then I'll forget that I've done it. But yeah, this is a sweet setup. The laptops. I want to know what this Asus vertical thing is over here. It looks cool. Is that like a computer or just like a portable monitor? But yeah, I really dig the music setup. I wish I had room for my music setup stuff on my desk, but I have like an end table that I've put over my desktop tower as kind of like a dust protector, so the dust doesn't fall into the computer when it's off. And I just put all of my music, my MIDI keyboard and my recording equipment and like microphones and stuff there. But it's like I have to bring it out to the desk if I want to use it. Kind of a pain. That's a USB monitor. Sick. That's a sweet one. I have one of these. I almost never use it. Yeah, this is a really nice scrappy setup here. I like it. Very cool. I like the repurposing of the Amazon delivery boxes as permanent storage. You seem like a kind of person that's very resourceful and that doesn't waste things, which is a good thing to be. Oh, maybe should I add a stream chat channel to the Discord? Maybe. I see you captioned your post. What's the signed poster? Signed by the singer of Sweeping Promises. Cool. Signed poster is nice. Fusionist with the cheapest option at the time when you wanted everything to be portable. Yeah, I can tell you want everything to be portable. I think that's cool. Do you also have a bug out bag packed? So you're just ready to go if you need to go. If you get the call. Just maximum portability. So what was I doing? So we protected against the crash bug. That was good. We can get rid of this chunk. Oh yeah, we're trying to understand why the cutaway system fails under camera rotation. Why would it? Why would it? I guess the first thing to ask, the flood fill doesn't care about camera rotation. The flood fill is absolute coordinates only. However, the room buffer, the set room bounds, this compartmentalization thing would be sensitive to camera rotations. So we would need to make sure that we handle that. That's probably what's happening, is we have this list of bounding boxes that corresponds to each compartment or room. And we probably, our reference to those bounding boxes are in absolute space. So it's not camera relative. So I probably need to add a system that converts from one to the other. Not add. I probably need to utilize the system that already exists for converting from one to the other. Fusionist, you used to travel with that big laptop. You insisted on bringing the sound card, the second monitor, etc. Ooh, man. Nerd style, that is. Nowadays, you settle for a single slimmer laptop. Yeah, I was actually looking at lightweight laptops because someone was asking about it in the Discord I'm in. And I have a Razer 15 for game dev stuff. It's a few years old. I bought it in 2021. This is my Razer Blade 15 with my Bad Cop sticker and my Godot Foundation stickers. I bought it in 2021 when it was cheaper to just buy a laptop with an embedded with a graphics card than it was to buy a graphics card. And I use that for dev, but it's a 15-inch, so it's like 15.6-inch screen or something like that. It's too big, too big. So I also have a Dell XPS 13 for my day job, which is so lightweight and so nice. I wish you could get a 13-inch gaming laptop that was like decent. Doesn't even have to be that strong. It would just, I love the portability of that. So I was looking at the Razer Blade 14 recently. I'm not going to buy it because I don't need a new laptop. The Blade 15 still has a 3060 in it, which is more than enough for Godot. But still, I like it. Lugging it around is a bit of a pain, so even a 14-inch I think would be an improvement, especially because I think they're made lighter weight now than the one I got from 4 years ago. But I only just probably finished paying off that one, so I'm not in a hurry to get a new one. Diginanigans, you're gonna head out. You've got a couple errands you need to run, then on to a bit of a crunch to get a job done before end of day. Great progress. You'll catch me next time. Thank you, Diginanigans. Good luck on your deadline. Yeah. Take it easy. Fusionist, you've accepted that it's either lightweight or gaming. Perhaps the compromise is sweeter nowadays. I think it's a little better nowadays. I was looking at Dell's replacement line for the XPS series, and they have like a 14-inch laptop as well that seemed reasonable. But they're overpriced. Like any laptop that has a dedicated graphics card is going to be like $2 grand, and it's like, it's a lot of money to spend. All right. We're focusing. I told you I was a little unfocused today. I'm sorry. Luckily, the chat's been active and we've been able to talk about stuff. That's been nice. Some days you're like laser focused. That was me yesterday maybe, and at least last night when I was working on stuff on my own, I was like laser focused on some stuff. And we got a lot done. Or I got a lot done yesterday. But today I'm not feeling as in the zone here. Fusionist. A friend of yours got a gaming laptop same year as you did 10 years ago. His was slimmer. It would also spew 100 degrees C air into his left hand. Oof. Yeah, the Razer is bulky, but it's got really good fans. And I'm very glad for that, because otherwise, yeah, it would melt everything. I don't know. We're getting to the point with APUs where you probably could get something with a dedicated card and at least be able to run Godot. Like, you probably wouldn't be able to run much else, but that's all I would only be taking out to like demo games and like work on stuff. You're capitalizing on my lack of focus? No, you're not. You're providing me a plausible excuse for not working, which I need. All right. So the way we handle camera rotation, we should probably look at the way we handle camera rotation for the regular auto tiler. Okay, so that would be up here. Merging blocks. Merging blocks should be in absolute coordinates. So then we derive, let's say derive deck layer data. So what we do here, what we do is we say, so we iterate through the buffer. We can convert the buffer coordinates to the relative view. And we can convert it back to the absolute coordinates. So that we just need to do that, the view rel to view and view ABS, view absolute. I call it view absolute because in the canonical representation of all the coordinates, there are no negative coordinates. And partly that's to help with the conversion to the tile maps, because while the built-in Godot converter for converting things to like U-shorts and stuff can handle negative numbers, the C# converters cannot. So we got to make sure we're using absolute coordinates, and then the view relative is fine. So So we just need to do that. We need to add that process to this. So what does that mean? So the interior cutaway seems to work fine without that, which is perplexing. Oh, probably because the cutaway's mask is in relative coordinates. And we're iterating through a boundary. Okay, so the entirety of the interior cutaway blocks by cursor coords, this is all happening in... Okay, so the only exception would be this check here. This if not block stock contains cursor coords. This should be blocks dot AABB dot view absolute cursor coords, because cursor coords are in relative coordinates. So that safety check should be like that. Or it has no purpose. Same thing here. Blocks.aabb.view relative cursor coordinates. Okay, now where's the problem? So cursor rooms equals blocks.get cursor coordinates. So cursor coordinates, oh, it's view absolute, not view relative. View absolute. So I guess that's the problem, is cursor coordinates are in relative terms. And what we need is we need to get the absolute version of it. So if we just say, so this might be the only thing we need to do. I wonder if I should say get absolute as like a shortcut. Instead of this, get blocks.aabb.view absolute. Because I don't like doing it this way. I don't like having to do like this. I could just say get absolute, and it would just handle this for me. I wonder if I want to add that. So we have our get function, so we could say public t get absolute vector 3i coords, and it would be span get index view absolute coords. Oh, it would need to be, no, that's fine. It would just be AABB dot view absolute coordinates. And I can also have a get relative. My problem with doing it this way is there's currently no, like if you already have absolute coordinates and you try to get absolute again, like if you submit absolute coordinates to a get absolute coordinates, it's wrong. It will do the transform again, which is wrong. It shouldn't work that way. You like writing those A to B personally, so relative to absolute, and if it were me, you would do relative to absolute. I've done that, and I should do it like that. The way I normally get around that is I do something like this. Vector 3i rel relative coords. Absolute coords. Just so like it's super clear that you have to pass relative coordinates into this or it will break. But what we should do is we should have a longer term. We should have a system that if you pass in an absolute coordinate to a get absolute coordinate, it should just pass back the same thing. Like we need some way of being able to tell if the coordinate is already absolute, which I don't have yet, But I understand that's an issue with the way we've written this. The abbreviations that proudly say no one else is touching this code. Yeah. Do I have a way of telling? No, I don't currently have a way of telling. What we probably want to do is we probably want some kind of data structure that has both the coordinates and some kind of piece of information that says what state it's in. Or it has some kind of fingerprint of like, this is the angle that this coordinate is in. And that way you could transform it to a different angle. It's essentially changing the like projection of it. And there should be a way of doing it. I'm just not the best vector mathematics guy, so I've put this off probably a bit longer than I should. Other than a custom struct with a flag, you don't know how you'd be doing that. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking something like a custom struct with a flag. I want it to work the way it works when you're like doing local to global conversions, which like if you pass a global, if you like say get local or get, like you don't have to pass anything in, you can just get. I would like a system like that where you could say like, you could be talking about something and you could say, give me the global version of this or give me the local version of this, which is kind of like our relative to absolute thing. And I would kind of like it that where you just ask for it. You don't have to pass it anything because right now we're like transforming a coord, but I would much rather have it have some representation where you just, here's the thing. It absolutely exists here, but you could also ask where it exists in relative space. And that way you're not passing stuff around, but that would require a little bit more support. So I acknowledge that it's a weakness of our current system and it needs to be sorted. But not today. Not today. At least this way I don't have to say blocks contains, blocks view absolute, blocks get. I can just... Oh, well, I guess here I have to do it. Fusionist, one bug you ran into with your Infinity World game was due to having very limited relative position handling. Positions were in floating point and farther away from the origin. The collision system couldn't use any epsilon value to correct intersections. Ooh. So you have your own custom structa code with some sort of world grid coordinate that lets you cap the position value it stores, if that makes sense. Now that makes sense. That's nice. Luckily for us, we only use... Well, one, our grids are teeny tiny. Such that I could probably get away with using... I don't even think I would technically need a vector 3 to represent coordinates on the grid. I could probably use like... I could probably represent each coordinate with like... I don't know. A very small... I could represent each coordinate with like a short. Or even less. I could represent a coordinate... I could probably even use a single... Yeah, I could probably use a single byte to represent each coordinate in my grid system. So we might end up coming up with like a more custom solution, but right now I'm trying to do everything very generally. Because no infinite world in my game. You could probably use a single bit, you win. Look. No, but I'm thinking about it because I'm thinking about what the largest grid size of a system is. And I'm thinking the maximum buildable area is going to be 32 by 32 by 8 or something like that. And then the maximum playable area will probably be like 64 by 64 by whatever. It might not actually even be bigger. It might be just, we'll see. I'm still thinking about how limited I want the buildable areas to be. But as long as it's 64 or less, yeah, we could do a lot with that. Okay, but you just know that players will request custom build areas. Yeah, but I'm more concerned about the UI, I'm more concerned about navigating the camera in the battlefield situation, which it is a space game. So even if we have our 9-box grid and like you have your ship in the middle and then there are ships on whatever, some of the adjacent 8 spaces, they don't technically need to be immediately next to each other. Like there could be distance between the two. Quite a bit of distance even. That's like not visually displayed, but is like there. And so like, I don't know. I don't think we're going to have a definitive answer to that, how we're going to handle that until the quote unquote 9-box battlefield is built. And we've got stuff in there and we're looking at it. Hey, Ferlansky. How's it going? Welcome in. This can't possibly be all we need to get the system working. But also, maybe it is. You know what I'm saying? Also, do we not use the used bounds here? I could have sworn we did. Huh. I thought we needed that for something, but it's not being used, so whatever. You're good? Yeah, I'm good. We're a little scatterbrained today. We're kind of chillaxing today a little bit. We've been knocking out a bunch of stuff, so it's not like we haven't been productive, but we're feeling a little unfocused. So we've been just having fun, just chatting, kind of working our way through our task list. We made a task list yesterday for the tile block editor here to see what else we need to do for it to be considered finished, and we're just cruising along through that list. And we're very pleased with, we finished the block cutaway system today. I finished the last few little adjustments I wanted to make to it, so it's really nice in my opinion. What we got going on here. The only issue is maybe some outlining stuff, but we are aware of it and we're gonna be fixing it soon. Looking good, thank you. All right, so what did we check? What were we checking? We're trying to see if this will still work after I rotate the camera. Crash. Cursor not within any compartment. All right, that's probably because we're not doing this. We're not doing that very same check here. Try get cursor, merging blocks. Try get. It's fine. So let's add some stuff to that here. I forgot we updated the get, but we didn't update the try get. So it failed. Where even is the try get? Oh, that's not an axis aligned bounding box thing. That's a block buffer 3D thing. No, that's a. The heck? All right. Let's find out where this try get is. Oh, it's for buffer 3D read only. Ah, right. Interesting. Nope. I need to rewrite some code first. Can't test it yet. All right, we're going to say try get absolute. That should do it, he says confidently. All right, now we're going to try camera rotation. It's trying. It's trying its darndest here. But it's obviously going from the wrong point. Exterior works. Okay, what if we rotate the camera again? Yeah, okay. So there is an issue. Okay, so there's another stage of this which is not respecting the relativity of the coordinate. So cursor coords.z, that is unaffected by rotation, so we're not concerned with that. What we are concerned with is probably some of these bounds. So cursored bounds. So the cursored bounds are absolute. This is the problem that we're running into. So this needs to be, so we need to rotate this. So can we say blocks.aabb.view relative? Yeah. We should be able to just pass a bounding box into the view relative. I think I've never tested this with an AABB. So good luck to us. But yeah, so and then this is the same. So this would be blocks.aabb view relative. So we'll create the bounding box. Or wait, should we rotate the coordinate? Yeah. Okay, this is wrong. So this is so this is right. We can rotate the whole bounding box in this case, but in this case, we need to rotate this vector. And work with that. And then when we do this, move it. So all the movement and everything is happening in relative space. That's fine. So cursor bounds. So wait, do we actually need to do any of that here? So if the cursored bounds are all being made relative, the extended bounds maybe nothing needs to happen with this. Maybe we can just leave it like this. I think that's how that should. Or no, we need to go from relative, move absolute to relative. The cursor coords need to be transformed into absolute coordinates. And then the cursor bounds need to be made relative because that's calculated at the flood fill stage in absolute coordinates. And now it needs to be made camera relative so that it can be used for the cutaway system, which is all camera relative stuff. So that should work. I say yet again very confidently. So if I do this, and now we rotate the camera. Haha! And let's rotate the camera again. Ho ho! One more time. Hee hee! And then back to the start. Alright, we did it. Now the thing we didn't do, which was a recommendation. So I want this thing to rotate amongst itself, but I realized what I actually want it to do is I want it to rotate around the midpoint of the camera. Like where, so I need to like, once we implement that raycast input thing, I need to send one out from the midpoint of the camera, find that, and I want to use that as the pivot point for any rotation. So right now it's just rotating around the world origin, which is not what I want unless the camera is there. Maybe not. Maybe I want it to be a bit different. No, maybe I do want it to rotate around itself. We'll start with that, and then we'll see if we want that other thing. What's the new block type after doors? In fact, whilst we're at it, what's with the 2 types of walls? Oh, yeah, okay. So, I don't know what's after doors. We're probably going to need to implement something more aesthetic, like computer consoles or something. We do have some more types of walls that we want to implement. So the light gray. So here, so if I punch a hole in the wall here, everything here will go back to dark gray, and the cutaway will change because now it's exposed to space. Oh, what's the I see? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you understand how our hole type system works. I see what you mean. This is our clipboard. Doesn't it look like a clipboard? I worked really hard on this for like 5 minutes. Very proud of it. So the clipboard, so what we can do is we can select this section, we can copy it, and so we can use it. Ooh, I need to get the cutaway system to work differently with the clipboard. And we can put it in here, you know, shove it in right here. So we'll paste one here, but we still have it in the clipboard even though we pasted it, right? So I could go away to the wall, or what I'm more likely to do is be like, okay, now we need a ceiling here. So I'll put in a ceiling here. I think we're gonna make double walls illegal. But so let's say I've done all this stuff, but I'm like, hey, I want to paste that thing again. I can just click the clipboard thing and I've got it back. So it's just a physical representation of our clipboard. Put a door in there. I thought it was a vent. We will need vents eventually. Event-ually. Thank you. Good night. Yeah, I'm really pleased with the cutaway right now. Oh, here's something that's a freebie. I want like a hover version of the selection, little selection piece. I want that to like follow the monitor around or follow the mouse around. But I don't want it to count as a select, maybe. Maybe I do. No, I don't. I want it to just like hover. I want it to like follow around and be a hover. Maybe we can do that without adding a new form. I would just like an outline to follow the mouse around if nothing was selected. We're gonna add that to the tasks because that actually might end up being kind of involved. Okay, so 90-degree camera rotations we're pretty sure that's done. I'm gonna move it to in review testing. So let's move the block cutaway aware auto tiled outlines in here because I bet I could do this today. This is the one downside of not using an actual proper Kanban board is like the formatting is not handled automatically for me. So what did I want to do? I want like a mouse cursor. Or I want like a cursor block outline. It's not a selection overlay, it's like slightly different. Add that to the list of stuff to do. I did it like this so that if we have something that's like pretty chunky on here, it could have its own note. Like it could have an obsidian note that it links to, and we could click into that. And we could get pretty crazy with it. We could have a Kanban board of Kanban boards. So like here's the Kanban board for the tile block editor, but I could also make a board for the alpha MVP launch, which is actually not a bad idea. And so the whole other board, the tile block editor board, could itself just be a card in the alpha MVP launch Kanban board. That's like not the worst thing I've ever heard of. Drink some water. Feeling parched. We were talking about stuff cluttering our desk. I've still got my Godot con badge on here. Let me dox myself by sharing with you my full name, which is public knowledge, by the way, don't worry. Another bad cop sticker. Hard to believe that was in April, which is so long ago. And another bad cop sticker. All right. Block cutaway aware auto tiled outlines. I want to work on this. I think this will be pretty easy to do. I should probably do the resizable block buffer sooner than later, because it's tied into the camera rotation function. Oop. Oop. How's everyone doing, though? We're almost done with the week. All right, so cutaway aware, auto tiled outlines. How does one implement that? I think the way we do that is by... Oh, shoot. How do we do that? I think we don't use it to determine the hull data. Hull data needs to be determined without the cutaway, which is fair because the cutaway doesn't happen until after the hull data gets pulled. But it needs to happen before we generate or during the generation of the tile cell data. So we do it in here. And what we can do... So we already have a thing here. So it needs to inform... It needs to inform this Atlas chord set. So the way we currently do this... Oh, Lord. This involves going back and understanding my code. Who wants to do that? Jacob Dev, you got to run for work. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for hanging out. Have a nice run. Yeah, good luck with work. All right, so let's understand what's going on here. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. So if the hulls.try_get value key with W equals tile layers bulk X out bulk. So this is like for a floor tile that has a wall above it, we add +2 to the atlas coords. So instead of just checking that, we also need to check the cutaway status of the very bulk of our own block, essentially. Okay, so we're essentially just going to just make a bunch of cutaway checks each time when we think about altering the atlas coords, because we've laid out the tile set like this. This is good. I think this is a nice sized task here. I think this is something we can get done in the last 30 minutes of the stream. Assuming I stay relatively focused on what I'm doing. So what's a good example of this? I guess that's what we were talking about right here is deck X, which is this. So deck X has this outlining system. And so what we want to do so here we've got like, is the wall above us? Is there a wall above us? And is that wall above us the same hull type as us? If it is, we can increment the atlas coord Y by 2, which, if you'll notice, removes the top outline because it moves us down to the second half of the tile atlas here. So we want an additional check of, is there a wall above us? And is it not being cut away? So we just add that check here. And this is how we introduce cutaway aware auto tiling. Having fun. I hope y'all are having fun. I'm having fun today. I said I was scatterbrained, and I really didn't feel like streaming today. But, you know, we have a schedule, so I just went live. And I'm glad I did, because there were some nice people in here today. Old friends, new friends. Skywalk, finally workday is done. Hell yes. Hell yes. Good for you. I will have to go back to work after this for about 4 hours. I do about half of my workday before the stream and about half of my workday after the stream. So it's weird because I end up streaming like during people's normal like kind of lunch break time. Kind of that midday hump. I think it's a great time to catch people live. Or at least people in my time zone. Everyone else is at all these different stages of their day. But for me, it's kind of that midday slump. So it's like kind of a miracle I get anything done at all. You know what I mean? I think productively, my best time is my morning. But I think my partner was going to leave me if I kept streaming at like 7 in the morning. Yeah, morning and after lunch. Yeah, that's cool. So you feel productive after lunch? You feel like refreshed? I need to take a nap. I feel like I would have been better as like a Frenchman or a Spaniard. Somewhere where like a siesta after lunch is like culturally correct. I actually don't know if French people do that, but I think I would have been I would have really enjoyed being in Spain. I'm sure you do a lot of great work after launch as well, Skywalk. I'm sure after launch you're just full of adrenaline and you're like, what are we going to do now? Skywalk, you're sort of old. You haven't reached the nap threshold required yet. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I've actually gotten worse at taking naps. When I was younger, I could take like a 30-minute nap, like a 20 to 30-minute nap, and I would be like, yeah, let's go. Let's do this. Now, if I lay down for a nap, it is 2 to 3 hours and I am not well afterwards. Like I'm not getting anything done after a nap. The best I'm gonna do is like go eat or like hang out and then just go back to sleep again. So yeah, I've gotten worse at taking naps. All right. We're about to hit ads. I'm gonna start being productive because we've got about 30 minutes left of the stream. I swear I'm gonna lock in here because I know what I need to do, which is we do this try get check, and then we also need an and. So we need to say and not full bulk cutaways key.xyz cutaways.contains. So similarly, we do a try get the negative y neighbor. Why do I call this adjacent up? Shouldn't this be adjacent down? I guess it's arguably adjacent up. It's y back, which should be adjacent down. That's just incorrect. I actually don't want to use this system of notation anymore. I want adjacent down to be replaced with adjacent negative y. This is going to be adjacent positive y. This is going to be adjacent negative x. This is going to be adjacent positive x. And this is going to be adjacent negative z. Now I'm going to rearrange these a little bit. We can call this our bulk. Oh, I forgot to do a refactor. I just started typing things. one of those situations where I start to make an unrelated change just for my own sanity, and I probably break some stuff. Okay, so if holes, blah, 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 and not full bulk cutaways contains XYZ. And then this is going to be and not full deck cutaways dot contains key.xyz minus vector 3i.y. All right, sorry, I got distracted by Discord. I'm in it. I'm here. I'm locked in. We got 30 minutes or less. I'm going to make this work. Sometimes I think I can't get anything done in 30 minutes, and then last night I like fixed the entire block cutaway system in 30 minutes. And I'm like, maybe 30 minutes is actually quite a lot of time. All right, key Z ++1. Oh, that's because we're checking the block below us. Key with Z equals key.Z plus... Can't I just say... Oh, I see. I understand why I just did it this way. That's like, frankly, easier. This isn't negative Z, though. This is positive Z. Okay. Adjacent positive Z. It's key.Z +1. So now we're checking the bulk below us. So this needs to be and not full deck cutaways dot contains plus vector 3i.c. Well, that shouldn't happen, but I guess maybe it could conceivably. Let's say and not half. Oh, not full bulk cutaways. This check is pretty tedious. Key.xyz plus vector 3i.c and not half bulk cutaways dot contains key dot. I don't know how many of these are like precluded from happening based on the current rules of the cutaway system. I think a lot of them I think most of these can't happen, but I'm still going to double check because the rules of the cutaway might change. And the rules of the auto tile is pretty stable. Okay, so it's basically this. And now we do the same thing here. But we have to swap everything because we named everything wrong. Negative y. Let me make sure that I'm doing this correctly. So negative y is +1. Positive y is +2. Negative y is +1. Yeah. And what about the alternative? Negative x +1. Okay. No, I'm right. I named these wrong. Good opportunity to rename some misnamed variables here. We can just copy all this over because this is all the same. Let's see if our autocomplete can tell that this is all the same. Is that right? Yep. Cool. It doesn't like my lack of indentation. But I actually don't like indentating the same control flow statement. Like if it's this statement and this statement, I like to have it on the same indentation line because it's part of the same statement. I know that's weird. I know I'm weird. Let me be weird. Don't make fun of me. Benefit of not having to work with anyone else on this code base. All right. Thank you, autocomplete. AI is good for something, at least. All right, now this one. Deck Z. Okay, this one's different. This one's different. Why did I flip the Y in my head? I don't know why I did that. That's why I stopped naming things like left, right, up, down, forward, back. I cannot keep it in my head. I mean, I know there's like simple rules that you can remember. Like things like the right hand rule or whatever. But I'm just like, I don't want to think about left, right, up, down. Up, down, and forward, back are really the problems. Because up in 2D is negative. Like the visually up. But in 3D, it's positive. And then forward, back is whatever. That's just a convention you just get used to. Whichever one you're using. I think forward is traditionally negative. But that semantically makes no sense to me. Like, when you think about going forward, you don't think about decrementing something. Forward is associated with progress, right? So you'd think it would go up, but yeah. That's why I just swapped to negative X, positive X, instead of this left-right stuff. I couldn't do it anymore. Now if you want, you don't access the constant 100 by saying vector3i.right. You just say vector3i.x. And if you want it to be negative, you just subtract it from something. That's what I'm doing here. It makes a lot more sense to me. The only downside is the properties of the vectors are now lowercase. Because you can only have positive x mean one thing. Even if it's static, which I think is a little unusual. Like, I feel like I should be able to have static x dot x be different than an actual property of the struct dot x. I feel like I should be able to use capital for both those, but whatever. I'm letting myself be distracted by my own gripes. And adjacent equals whole. Why did I write it this way? Why are these nested statements? Why isn't this just part of the outer statement? I wrote it like that here. I did that only here for some reason. Whatever. This should be part of the outer case. I guess it doesn't. It really doesn't matter. I'm gonna do it this way, just so that they all look the same. I don't really like it this way though either, but whatever. And not what is this? This is negative x, so we need to check to see full deck cutaways. Yeah, like that. Okay. Yeah, there shouldn't be another if statement in here. It should be part of this outer one. But whatever. I guess I nested it because of the out. Like if try get value is false, then the out is not valid, but it doesn't, it's a struct, so it's not null either. So I guess that was my logic in not doing that way, of having it be a nested, like a second if, because this out variable is not valid unless this returns true. But it's like, I don't think that's required. I think I can still compare it. And then I just discard it if the try get's not, if the try get returns false. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. That at least explains why I did it this way, even if it doesn't make sense. I think that was just a habit from like defending against the possibility of adjacent negative y being null, but it's not null because it's a struct. Oh, hey, Soratia. Yeah, welcome to Twitch side. How's it going? How's your own streaming preparation coming along? Minus plus. Our online co-working session on Tuesday was very productive for me. It was nice. I slaughtered quite a few bugs. And then Bad's been doing these silent co-workings. I was in one last night. I got so much done. It was crazy. think you'd enjoy those. I mean, they're all silent, so, or those ones are silent, so I don't know if people would enjoy them per se, but I found it very focusing. Okay, so I think this one's done. So those are the floor pieces. Now we just need the version for the wall pieces. I hope there's not anything else I need that I'm not thinking about. All right, let's fix this first. Make sure the variables are talking about the right thing here. You had an interview today, so you got the camera working. Oh, nice. For the interview? You had a remote interview? Cool. I hope that went well. Positive. So this is now negative z, which we don't have a variable for. All right, bulk X. Bulk X needs to check and not, what are we doing? We're checking out our own floor piece. I don't think you need to check anything, do you? I mean, we can put in a token check here, which is unnecessary because we're already doing this check elsewhere. But I could at least just put it in here for consistency. Ooh. Well, there's something we need to add for this. We need to add half tile outlines. Unless we just make it so the half tile is responsible for it. Will that work? No, that won't necessarily work. Dang. All right, well, we're increasing the complexity of our tile atlas by doing this. So this isn't going to look quite right. So, but let's just put the logic in that we would want if we had it. So we'll say full bulk cutaways contains that. Oh, minus my little AI minion doing the wrong work. My little auto tiler, or my little autocomplete. Incorrect about these things. think I maybe want to get rid of these. Yeah, okay, I understand why I didn't do that. I understand why I did this list of... Yeah, we'll just leave it. I don't like it. I don't like the possibility that I'm accidentally accessing a different variable than the one that came out of the try-get. But I'm going to live with it for now. Oh, the doors. The freaking doors. God, I have to do that. I guess I actually don't have to worry about the doors right now. I just need to finish this bulk Z, and then I think we're off to the races. So... All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. This is all the logic we should need to get our cutaway aware. Minus this one thing, which I didn't realize, which is that we need outlining based on the half block cutaway. Which means we need to add a bunch of pieces to our tile atlas, which is unfortunate. But we can look at how we're going to do that tomorrow. I just want to see if it mostly works now. That'd be great. We knocked out a bunch of tasks today and yesterday, so I'm pretty pleased with our... What? Why didn't that... What happened? My mouse didn't, like, let go correctly. Well, that's weird. Okay, well, the outlining is being weird, but I think it's mostly okay. Let's finish this. It's definitely on the weird side. Oh yeah, that's fairly busted here. Oh. Okay, the check needs to be a little more complicated than I'm giving it credit for. But I want to see what this part is doing. Okay. Okay, well, the dark gray is outlining correctly, which is really helpful because I was having a hard time visualizing that as much. But this half-cut stuff is wrong. So what if I change that part? So all I think I need to do is take this part out. Just do this instead. Let's see what this looks like. This might be as close as we can get with our current tile atlases. Okay, well, I don't see any weird aberration. Well, okay, I see a few aberrations. Why is that happening sometimes? Oh. I think I see the failure of the logic there. Okay, well that egregious issue is gone. So there's a couple of minor issues I see, but it's much more minor than some of the issues we were having before. So why is that happening there? So it's a floor block. No, it's the full wall is not drawing an outline because there's a half wall there. That's probably correct for this. And then that floor piece is drawing an outline because I see the source of the disagreement. I don't think that's something we can fix. You can see where the line thins out a little bit towards the bottom here, towards like right there. But that's not something we can fix until we're able to draw half block outlines, which I guess I'm drawing tomorrow. But you probably can't see it on stream, but the dark gray outline part works a lot better now. I can kind of tell the contour of the shape. Oh, not exactly, though. I see one spot where I don't like it. Oh, but that's a half block problem. Huh. Okay. So the half block needs a little bit more complexity to it. The half block check for the outlining, but it's getting better. It's definitely getting better. But we can just add additional checks. That's easy to add to the logic there for the outlining. But it's getting there. Do I use a green screen? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I have one. It's one that unfurls. So it's like, normally it's just in this big metal tube on the ground, and it's got some stabilizers, and it slides up. I can link you the one I use in Discord. It depends on what setup you've got. If you've got I don't have a wall. If I had a wall behind me, I don't have a wall behind me. It's like open space behind me. So I have one that like is almost like a projector screen that you raise up. But if you have a wall behind you, you can just put up like a tarp or something, right? Or not have a green screen. I wish I could do a nice setup. Like, I wish I had a nice office look behind me that I could just do and not have a green screen. But I kind of like it. I kind of like being in the screen and maximizing screen space. But people use all sorts of different setups. All right. I think that's it for today. I think we had a really productive day here, which is really nice. This is looking good. So I'm going to leave this in progress because there are some issues that we need to address. 90-degree camera rotation, I think that just works, but I want to test it a little more before I confidently move it to the completed section. Yeah, we completed a couple things. We moved some stuff into testing. We started on something new. This was nice. This was nice. I think tomorrow I'm going to make that Kanban board of Kanban board things so we can put the tile block editor in progress and we can list the other stuff that we have as planned. So we'll continue to do a little bit more planning tomorrow and then continue to just knock out some tasks. And then Saturday we're going to do a Void War Let's Play. I think it's going to be fun. But yeah, I think that's it for us today. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And next time.
Maximum warp.
Maximum warp. Smooth in a second. I'll see you on the mountain. Bye.